Hey everyone, my name is Slava. I'm the new developer ecosystem lead at Eco. Today we're doing a Build on Chain episode, which is a video series featuring technical Web3 leaders who provide hands-on tutorials for their protocols, tools, and frameworks. Each episode breaks down practical implementation strategies and equips developers with the knowledge to start building on-chain immediately. This episode is featuring Itai, who's from Dynamic, co-founder and CEO. I will let you intro yourself.
Very cool. Hey everyone, I'm Itai. Thanks for having me. I'm as you mentioned, co-founder and CEO of Dynamic. For those that don't know, Dynamic's a wallet infrastructure company. What that really means is we provide an SDK where you can set it up and either generate embedded wallets, MPC embedded wallets for your end users, or let them log in with their MetaMask or Phantom and anywhere in between. So the idea is that everything user management that's crypto related, we can kind of abstract away for you. You can see it live on anywhere from Kraken's Inky app, so their trading app, all the way to Magic Eden, Ondo Finance, Maple Finance. You can see it at Lamborghini, Cleanoceros, which is a big NFT collection, Lighter, which is the second biggest perps provider out there. All kind of use Dynamic, and you can see all kind of different types of UI and kind of design decisions that people made by just literally going to those sites that I mentioned and clicking login. So that's what we do for a living. And Slava, to your point, we figured today we'll try to build something with Dynamic or implement Dynamic essentially.
Perfect. Yeah, looking forward to it. Before we get into it, would love to ask you some questions about your background and how you kind of started with Dynamic in the first place.
Sure. I can give a quick overview. So we've been at this for 4 years minus 1 month. Not that I'm counting, but exactly 4 years, 1 month, and 9 days. I might be off on my math. We started Dynamic in 2021. We went through the fun crypto winter, and then what is now a little bit more of a summer breeze. The reason we started Dynamic, two co-founders, Yoni and myself, have known each other for about 18 years. We actually met at MIT, so we both did our undergrads together, and we kind of have been friends ever since. So 18, 19 years, give or take. The reason we started Dynamic is pretty straightforward, which is our hypothesis was that, every app on your phone, every interaction that you do, is going to have some sort of wallet component to it. Every app on your phone, every website you visit is likely going to have some sort of crypto component to it, right? It's the way you do international payments. It's the way you move money. It's the way you hold assets. And if that holds true, then every crypto interaction really requires a wallet, which means that you need both embedded wallets and external wallets. And our hypothesis was very much that if you kind of fast forward a couple of years, every app on your phone, every website you visit will have that component. Surprisingly, for the first 2 years of Dynamic, we kept saying 5 years away, or 2.5 years, or even 3 years. We kept saying, hey, in 5 years, everyone will have an app on their wallet that's crypto powered. And I feel like, over the last 12 months, we moved on from saying it's in 5 years to it's in 4 years. So actually, it's happening now. And so any fintech out there is probably evaluating crypto, evaluating embedded wallets, and we get to work with some awesome companies on that. That was the original reason we started Dynamic, and that's where we are now in our journey.
Awesome. Thanks for the full background. So let's see. What are we going to build today?
So what we're going to do is we're going to try to set up Dynamic extremely quickly and show how quickly you can go from not knowing anything about Dynamic. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you haven't used you haven't implemented the product before, to not knowing anything about Dynamic implementation, to going to a full, hey, you can generate wallets for your users and embedded wallets or connect external wallets very, very, very quickly. Right, that is really what we're going to try to show. We're going to try to show that for folks listening, this should be a very anticlimactic experience. Hopefully, if this demo goes right, it kind of just works, and everyone who does this can go on their merry way to implement the things that are really core for their app or important to differentiate their app. Right, so that's what we're going to do. To your point, most demos are me demoing. we figured we'll add one more level of complexity, which is you trying to implement this on your side very quickly.
Perfect. Let's do it. So now that I've opened up my IDE, I'll open up the terminal. So I created a new project, a new folder, dynamic test. So now you've sent me the instructions.
That's right. Yeah, so for those listening, there are really two ways to set up dynamic. The first one is if you have a live app or an app in progress like a React or a JavaScript app, you can literally just follow our guide and kind of wrap your current app with dynamic and all the auth type methods. Or if you're starting from scratch, you can use what we're using here, which is npx install create dynamic app, and we'll go through some of the instructions to choose the right setup for us. That's a very good way to get started.
Perfect. So let's run that.
Yeah, so let's choose React.js, right, to your point. We'll choose npm. Here, let's just hit space on Ethereum. We'll start with Ethereum. We can add Solana later if we want, but just Ethereum to start. Let's hit enter.
Perfect.
And let's say we're happy with Veeam. We don't need ethers. So just enter here. We don't need WAGMI.
So we'll click no.
And we are setting it up. So essentially, what we've done so far is we kind of are letting the app set up. In parallel, what we can do is we can create a new dynamic account. So let's go to app.dynamic.xyz.
Perfect. Let me do that. I'll open up the web page and I'll redo my screen. Let's see how I can do that. So I think boom.
And what we are doing here, just so folks to know, is essentially Dynamic really has a SDK component, and we have a oh, perfect. You already set it up. Amazing.
I just created the account. Yep, I put my email in, and then this is the first thing that I see.
Perfect. So what? Just so folks to know what they're seeing here is really you're seeing the developer dashboard. So what developers, Slava in this case, is seeing, we have a project concept or an organization concept, and each project has a sandbox environment and a production environment. You can see the environment ID on top. We'll use that in a second, so you can copy that using the copy button.
The environment ID?
Yeah, perfect. And what we'll do now is let's go back to our kind of setup.
Oh, I can actually do. Wait, no, I was trying to do two screens at the same time, but I couldn't. So back to my IDE.
Yeah. So perfect. So perfect. So you can CD to my dynamic project, and you can run npm run dev to start your development server. You might need to CD to the my dynamic project. So
I need to open it up first.
Yeah, that's right. So CD my dynamic project.
To this, I'll just copy. Oh wait, no.
Perfect. And now npm run dev. Let's see if that works. Let's click that or go to our kind of browser and see whether we're able to get something started.
See, share screen. Boom.
There we go. Perfect. Now, before we click login, let's grab the environment ID we had before. So let's go back to app.dynamic.xyz.
Yep, I just copied it. I have it on my other screen.
Perfect. And now let's go back to our code. And what we want to do is replace our code with the right environment ID, right? So we have a temporary environment ID that we set up. And what this will do is it'll map the dynamic localhost to your settings in order to start syncing things and doing fancier stuff. So let's go to your project.
Just so that people can see, there you go. I screen my shared again, and then I'm putting my environment ID.
Perfect. Now, you got to hit save. Perfect. I think what we want to do is actually kill the server and start over just to make sure that's picking it up. So npm run dev. Npm run dev. And let's wait for a second and go back. And in a second, what we'll do is we'll see whether we are able to kind of get the right environment ID. And I'll show you how we test that very, very quickly. But perfect. Is that the new settings? Yeah. So I think, okay, so let's click login or sign up. Perfect. So now we actually have it mapped out. Let's log in with email. So let's grab a code. So your email should get a code that we can enter. Perfect. And that's it. Now, what is happening in the background in a second is you'll see an embedded wallet will be created. That was it. You have essentially finished kind of creating a new user and a new embedded wallet that was created. Now, if we go back to our settings for a second to app.dynamic.xyz, and we display that on screen real quick.
Let's do this. Let me reshare it. Sorry for the editors.
You're good. You're good. I want to see whether we mapped it correctly to the right environment. The way we're going to see it is if we refresh that homepage, it's going to show us that a user was created, and that was it. As you can see, we have one authenticated user that was logged in. Let's go to our user management on the left real quick. You can click on users, and you can see that a new wallet was created, dynamic wallet as a service. If we click that, line, we can see that was you that logged in, right? Slava@echo.com. And you don't have any passkey set up, so no MFA just yet, and we can get to that in a second. You can see our sessions. You can see that you passed a chain analysis kind of OFAC time control. And pretty much at that point, you have set up dynamic. So technically, if you're to launch your project, now we'll do some fancier stuff, but if you're to launch your project, you now have a full login system where wallets can be created for new users, or they can log in with MetaMask, etc. So that was the very basic setup. Took us a few minutes, and at that point, you have a full working auth system with the ability to create embedded wallets for folks. So we'll pause for a second. In a second, we'll get to more detailed questions. But Slava, any questions from your end or things you think the audience should know so far?
No, I think this is actually very, very smooth. I love the onboarding.
Love it. Okay, so let's do some fancier stuff, right? So let's go to our menu on the left. Has a bunch of things, right? It has analytics. It has user management, right? So as we get more users, we'll be able to do more stuff. But what we should do is let's click on login and profile for a second on the left. And here, what this does is it lets us start controlling more sophisticated type login methods. So we don't need passkeys for now, but let's scroll down for a second. And let's say that we actually want to first hide the network icon. I don't need that. So let's toggle that on.
Network icon.
The only one, yeah, right next to your cursor. On the right of your cursor, hide network icon, you can hit save changes. And next, let's turn on login with Google. So we had login with email. I kind of like Google, so let's turn that on. But what we see here is that you need to set up cores. So let's grab the local environment. I think it was localhost. I can't remember what the yeah, perfect. So let's grab that. Perfect. Let's go back and click on set cores origin. Let's enter. I think you need, okay, perfect. Let's add origin. And that point, let's X out. And let's now toggle on Google. So we can just scroll down and you can toggle on Google. Let's hit save. And at that point, when we log out and log in, we should be able to see a login with Google. So it might take a few seconds to refresh. So let's click on the 3 dots on the wallet. 3 dots, yeah, perfect. And let's click settings and log out. And what folks are seeing here, by the way, is a dynamic widget. And we can refresh real quick just to make it, there we go. We don't even have to refresh. We now have login with Google, right? So now you can log in with Google. You're already logged in within this browser. So actually you're going to get to the same wallet that you got to before. As you can see, you don't have the chain toggle anymore because we deactivated that. So the cool thing about this is that we set it up once and we didn't really touch code again, and we can start morphing and modifying dynamic to fit our use case, right? So as a good example, there's a fetch message or things around that type of sort that we can very quickly set up without starting to write a lot of code with dynamic. Now, if we click back on the three dots real quick, what folks should know is that dynamic comes in two flavors. One is a UI components flavor. So what you see here is kind of a way to very easily set up everything with balances. So if we were to send stuff to this wallet, you'll be able to see a balance. Things around kind of profile, linking wallets, sending or depositing can all happen without you needing to set up anything new, right? And can happen very, very quickly. Or if you're more sophisticated, you can nuke this part and build your own front end with dynamic components in the background. So as a good example, if you go to Kraken's Inky app, you're not going to see these widgets, but rather they have built their own full front end. So let's go back to our dashboard real quick, and let's do a couple other things. So we can scroll down actually. There's a section here that's really interesting, which is the ability for you to collect additional information. So let's say someone was to log in, right? And we say, you know what, after login, we actually want their alias. So we can toggle that on, right? And let's click on that bar of alias because we can set up more things. So we can say, look, this would be a required field. So in login, it's required. Let's X out of it and save again. And now on next login, what you'll see is that after login, you'll see if we log out that we'll have alias be a required type component. So let's log in with Google again. And now we're back. Oh, actually, it might take a second to refresh and set up. So let's log out and refresh real quick. And let's see if that works. And if we've done it correctly. No, not yet. Okay, so we'll come back to it in a second. It might take a few seconds to show up. So let's go back to our dashboard. We'll set up a couple more things and we'll come back to it. But if you scroll down a little bit more, you have this concept of design settings. And we can say, look, let's change the way stuff looks. So let's maybe choose the last option on the list, which is collapse wallet list. And let's also split email and social. So the fourth option from the bottom, split email and social. So what that will do is essentially it will put email with some distance from social and put wallets under a category of continue with wallet. Let's also, let's do the display, the second from the bottom, display email submit button as its own input field. And the idea here is to change the UI very quickly. So we'll come back to this in a second. Let's scroll up. Let's make a couple more changes and let's see how they impact stuff. So we've chosen login and user profile. Let's go to chains and networks. So we can click on chains and networks. Let's click on EVM. And let's choose a second chain that we might want to turn on. Let's see if there's one you particularly like. There we go. We can choose Arbitrum. You can hit save. There we go. Now when we go back, you'll see EVM will just have more chains. We can come back to the rest later. I want to show a couple more options. But yeah, let's refresh. And let's see what, there we go. So first the UI and design component already changed. And now the information collection is there as well. So now very quickly, not only are we creating a user, but we can collect more information about them, right? And we can create custom fields, or we can do a lot of sophisticated stuff very quickly. And again, we have touched code once, right? So we set up dynamic once. And at that point, we have all set this up in the dashboard, right? That is the beauty here and the simpleness, I don't know if that's a word, but of setting up dynamic. So we can hit continue. You can go, let's click on the three dots. And you can see in the profile, so if you click on the second tab, profile, we now have your alias as well as your email logged in and registered. So you can start building these really sophisticated profiles. Let's do one more thing. Let's go back to wallets. Do you have a MetaMask installed or anything like that?
Oh, not under this one. I actually have to install.
Do you have your mobile account, like a Rainbow?
Not on this. I would
Okay,
have
so
to
let's do.
refresh.
I'll do. It's okay. Let's go back to. I'll show it from my end. So what we can do is click the three dots, and click. Let's click on Link New under Other Wallets, and let's choose WalletConnect. And what I'll do is from my end, I'll actually open Rainbow, and I will scan this QR code. Let's see if scanning through, the browser, the camera works. There we go. So scanning worked. I'll connect. And at that point, I will confirm and sign. And now I have my Rainbow wallet linked to that same account. So now we have two, again, in your case, it will probably be you. This is a weird security type thing. Do not do this at home, nor is it production safe. But what you see is that user profile now doesn't only have an embedded wallet, but has an external wallet tied to it. So you can start building really sophisticated profiles for folks. You collected information, you tied external wallets very, very quickly for the user. And what we can do now, if you click that WalletConnect wallet, right, we have now switched for it to be primary. So you can see I have a lot of fake type balances there, which is a good example, right? Let's switch back. That is not my real balance for anyone wondering. That would be amazing, but that is not my real balance. But you can kind of see a lot of these back and forths type experience that you can create with these other wallets, right? So you can build this full ecosystem, and the use case here is the Magic Edens of the world, etc., where you have way more sophisticated flows, right? So that is the beauty of all this type of stuff, right? So we saw that information, right? Let's log out again. And let's go to Dynamic Developer Dashboard. And let's do a couple more things. So in embedded wallets, right on the left, you can start seeing more additional things you can change. You can think about things like, do I need a confirmation UI when I sign a message or send a transaction, right? I can set up policies on the left, and we don't necessarily have to go to all of these, but I can set policies about what my end users can and can't do. I can sponsor gas for users. I can set up global wallets. But I will do one more thing. So let's go into account security. And let's turn on MFA, right? So I want to show that very quickly. Let's turn on a passkey just for the sake of simplicity and hit save changes. And let's click on passkey again on that line, and we can see whether it allows a backup code. So let's we don't need to toggle it on. And we'll X out of it. And what we've done here is we've essentially said, look, as part of login, you now need to set up an MFA code in order to access more sophisticated stuff, right? Let's turn on one more thing, though, before we go back. So in advanced, let's click on funding. Okay. And let's turn on external wallet funding. Click save. And let's see if we can turn on Banksa funding as well. So let's toggle this on. It'll need additional configuration. So let's click that, sign the terms of service, right? Perfect. Now let's X out of that. And at that point, we can go back and we'll see what we've done very quickly. So let's log in, right? Let's see if it's going to ask me to set MFA. So probably going to take another second or two to refresh. But let's click deposit very quick. And I want to see if it already showed that part. So click deposit. Perfect. So what we've done here, it doesn't have Banksa yet. It's going to take a second to sync. But now what we've done is we've allowed you to add additional ways to move money into your account, right? So the beauty here is, again, without touching code, we've not only set up a wallet, let you link additional wallets, but you now have multiple routes to fund your wallet or to send money out, right? And all of those have been a few clicks of a button, right? That is kind of the magic of dynamic, and what we're going for is that without touching code, you've actually done all of that. Now we can, not in this session, but in future sessions, we can start writing more sophisticated stuff. We can customize this UI, but everything we've done so far has been pretty much setting it up once, toggling a bunch of stuff in your dashboard, and you have a full working authentication system, a full working wallet management system with super secure TSS and PC wallets that you can control. Let's see. Let's refresh this real quick. I want to log out and log back in, and I want to see whether passkeys are. Oh, passkeys might not be mandatory. So actually, let's log in. Let's continue with Google, right? And let's see whether, yeah, let's click the 3 links. Let's click on deposit real quick. I want to see whether bank says there. Not yet. Okay, so let's go back, but let's click on settings. And I want to see whether, click on account and security. We now have passkeys here. So we can now set up a passkey as well, right? So you can set up a passkey. And we can go through that flow, and I'm sure you're getting a pop-up now on your computer. We don't see it on our end.
Create a passkey to sign in, yep.
Perfect, yes. And at that point, we've created a passkey for this account. So you can, going forward, sign in with a passkey, use a passkey as MFA, etc. So that was kind of one more thing where if you all of a sudden, it's fine if it was rejected, but all of a sudden, if you've created a DeFi type app or a more secure focused app, you can set it up with these types of passkeys, right? As the same example, because these are non-custodial wallets, if you click private key export, you can export your private key very, very quickly. And because this is a test environment, maybe we want to show the full flow. So you can click reveal. Never use this wallet again, please. For anyone watching, this is not a safe wallet, but you can export that key and import it into MetaMask. So you can complete this full non-custodial life cycle for the user. And that's pretty much it. That is dynamic in a nutshell. There's plenty of things you can do beyond that, but that pretty much went from not knowing anything dynamic to setting up the full environment extremely quickly and having your full login and wallet system work.
No, this is a very smooth onboarding flow. Security question: with the passkeys, can I set up a YubiKey?
That is a great question. Yes, you can, because passkeys are essentially from the browser perspective or from the operating system perspective. You have multiple choices. So in that dropdown that you get from Chrome or Safari, they will let you set up a YubiKey or sync to your mobile device or do a bunch of different types of options. If you have 1Password or LastPass installed, you can all set it up there. So you have a lot of that flexibility. And you can use it, I'm sorry, I know this wasn't your question, but you can use it both as 1FA, so for login, or 2FA for some sort of confirmation as part of key export or anything like that.
Nice, I love it.
Any other questions?
Nothing from me so far. No, this was pretty self-explanatory.
Love it. So just so folks know, as we kind of wrap up here, is that you can do all of this without talking to a human. So as much as I'm sure everyone enjoyed listening to my dad jokes over the last couple minutes, you can do all of this on your own. Go to our docs, go to app.dynamic.xyz, and you can set this up. You can go to production just by adding your credit card, all extremely, extremely quickly without ever having to talk to a human. And just, you can roll this out within a few minutes on your project.
Nice. And this is the docs, dynamic.xyz/docs with all of the examples.
Yes, that's right.
Cool.
That's pretty much it. These are, just so folks know, this is available as React SDK, a vanilla JavaScript SDK, Swift, Kotlin coming soon, Flutter, Unity, and a bunch of others, all available within a few clicks.
Yeah, absolutely love it. This is a very clean looking dashboard.
Thank you. You can even click analytics and you can see how people use the product, right? That's going to load in a second. And you can see that we had, one user with a session, right? The session continued on and on. You can see that external wallets had WalletConnect login. If you click on the user on the left, you are able to see kind of, again, that user that was created, but you can see that they now have multiple wallets and a bunch of other stuff.
Nice. You
can see all the sessions. You can see the things connected. You You can see that no passkeys were set up because we didn't end up setting it up. You can see all the scans. So that is, you can access all of this as an API, etc.
Awesome.
Very cool. That's pretty much all I had.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming on. But before you hop off, I do have some questions for you. Anything new that's coming in the Dynamic product suite?
Yes. So the biggest two things that are rolling out, one is rolled out and one is coming very, very soon, is first the concept of stablecoin accounts, right? So I've set up an account for you, but now the key question is, can I now give you tools to do more sophisticated stuff with those accounts? And specifically, can your end users hold stable coins and earn on top of them, or issue a debit card through Rain on top of them, or anything like that? And the answer is yes. We now have a section within our docs for recipes where you can, within a minute, set up DeFi with Aave. You can set up yield with Morpho. You can set up swaps. You can do things with gauntlets, again, with Wormhole and Mayan. You can set up swaps. You can issue a debit card with Rain, all within a few minutes. And the idea is that Dynamic's not just about your embedded wallets, but it's giving you that full stack in order to create this magical kind of experience for customers. So if you're trying to build stablecoin accounts for your users, if you're a payroll company or an accounts payable company, you can do that with Dynamic as well. You don't have to start and stop within those embedded wallets. So that's feature number one. Feature number two is a feature we call Delegated Access. And the idea is that you've created an account, right? But can you delegate access to a developer to take a subset of actions on your behalf without you being there? So let's say you say to someone, hey, I want to make this trade when this coin hits $100. I want to make $5,000, and that's the only trade I want to make. You can delegate permissions for a developer to hit that API endpoint and transact on your behalf with those very specific policies, right? So it gives developers a little bit more control within the confines of they cannot do anything outside what an end user has delegated access for them to do. So those are two key features, one that rolled out and one you'll see us announce within the next week. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, that sounds very interesting. Moving towards that user-friendly approach
Yes.
and having people from regular world Web 2 is what we call it, right? Being able to use crypto without thinking about crypto.
Yes.
Nice, awesome, super exciting. Maybe Eco/Dynamic or EcoX Dynamic on stable accounts.
Yeah, that'll be amazing. I think that's why we're big fans, right? There's a lot of really cool stuff that happen across. We are at the end of the day kind of an infrastructure service provider, right? And there are lots of phenomenal opportunities on things like Eco, right? To essentially take advantage of these, right? So yes, that is very much the goal. Hopefully you'll see some recipes soon across kind of Eco plus Dynamic.
Perfect. Looking forward to it. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Itai, and sharing how to build with Dynamic. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you so much for having me. I very appreciate it. I appreciate the experiment of me not demoing, but rather you demoing the Dynamic product. And thank you so much for that.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for listening. Tune into the next episode.